Hello and welcome to the distributor type fuel system. Today we're going to look at a distributor type fuel system. As you can see, we have our lift pump delivering the fuel to the filter and to the injection pump. The injection pump will meter, pressurize, and time our fuel delivery. Our nozzles will be injecting and atomizing the fuel into the combustion chamber when the fuel pressure overcomes the spring pressure. Any excess fuel from the injection pump will return to the fuel tank, and any excess fuel not injected by the nozzle will also return to the fuel tank. So let's take a look at the injection pump. Fuel from the filter enters the end cap of our injection pump. As it enters the end cap, the fuel goes around the pressure regulator and enters the transfer pump. The transfer pump is driven by the drive shaft through the distributor rotor, and it contains 4 spring-loaded vanes spinning within the eccentric. This sends the fuel to the injection pump housing, and behind the transfer pump is our pressure regulator. The pressure regulator maintains the fuel pressure within 40 to 130 psi. Pressure regulator maintains the pressure by recirculating or bypassing the fuel back to the inlet side of the transfer pump. When the viscosity changes in our fuel, the viscosity compensator automatically offsets pressure changes caused by viscosity difference. This works with the pressure regulator piston and spring. The fuel pressure exerted against the backside of the piston is determined by leakage past the regulating piston. As the fuel coming from the transfer pump enters the hydraulic head, it surrounds the annulus within the hydraulic head. At the highest point of the annulus is where our vent wire is located. The vent wire prevents excessive fuel return and undue pressure loss. The size of the wire controls the amount of fuel bleeding to the governor housing. At the top of the hydraulic head is our metering valve, which regulates the volume of fuel entering the distributor rotor. This is controlled by the governor. During the charging cycle, as the rotor revolves, the 2 inlet passages align with the charging ports in the annulus. Fuel under pressure flows into the pumping chamber, forcing the plungers apart. The angled inlet passage in the rotor aligns with the ports in the charging annulus, while the rotor discharge port is not in alignment with the head outlet. Our rollers and shoes are now traveling between 2 cam lobes in our cam ring. During the discharging cycle, as the rotor continues to revolve, the inlet passage moves out of alignment with the charging ports. The rollers then contact the cam lobe and injection begins. Further rotation of the rotor moves the rollers up the ramp, pushing the plungers inward. The delivery to the injection line continues until the rollers move past the innermost point on the cam lobe. Pressure in the axial passage is then reduced, allowing the nozzle to close and end injection. Within our rotors, the delivery valve keeps the lines full of fuel so that the full charge of fuel can be injected at the next cycle for that cylinder. On some distributor pumps, individual delivery valves are installed in the hydraulic head outlets for each cylinder. A post-plunger distributor pump design permits the use of a direct-acting hydraulic mechanism powered by pressure from the fuel transfer pump. Starting delivery of fuel to the nozzle earlier when the engine is operating at higher speed ensures that combustion takes place when the piston is in its most effective position to produce optimum power. Located in the bottom of the pump is our advance mechanism. This advances or retards the start of fuel delivery in response to engine speed changes. A hydraulic piston rotates the cam ring against the direction of pump rotation via the cam advance stud. A post-plunger distributor pump design permits the use of a direct-acting hydraulic mechanism powered by pressure from the fuel transfer pump. Pressure is used to rotate the cam and vary the delivery timing. Within the governor housing is our governor, flyweights, springs, and linkages. Mounted to our distributor rotor are the weight retainers or flyweight retainers connected to our linkage, springs, and the metering valve. As the engine load decreases, the speed of the engine increases, which moves our collar from the retainer, which also moves the linkages to springs, and then finally rotating the metering valve to the less fuel position. The same way, when the speed changes to slower speed or the load increases, the flyweights, the springs, and the linkages react and rotating the metering valve to the more fuel position. To adjust the idle, you can locate the idle spring pack screw. Outside, you can locate your high idle stop screw and adjust from there.